Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Study English with Frank. And today we're going to continue in our series of Conversational English. And the question that we're going to focus in on today is, where would you like to live? Let's get started. If you've been following our series of lessons here on Conversational English, you'll know that we have already covered a number of those basic first questions that people often ask when they're meeting someone for the first time. If you've missed those lessons, just go to Study English with Frank, our YouTube channel, go to the playlists on the menu there, and look for Conversational English. We have, I think, almost 20 lessons there now, building up all of those questions that people like to ask. And one of the questions that is often asked when you're talking to somebody is, where are you from? Where are you from? Or what kinds of places have you lived? And where would you like to live? Where would you like to live? If you had a choice, if you could live anywhere that you want in this world, where would it be? Is a question that people will often ask. People want to know the types of places that you have lived, the types of places that you might like to move to. They want to get a sense for the type of person you are, and one of the ways to get to know people is to find out where they have lived, where they would like to live. And so today, let's focus in on that question. The first one that people might ask is, where are you from? Where are you from? And it might seem an odd question for someone who's just still learning English. Where am I from? Where am I from? You might struggle with what they mean. What do they mean when they say, where are you from? Basically, what they're asking is, where did you grow up? When you were a child growing up, where was that? Did you grow up in a small village? Did you grow up in the city? They might want to know the name of the town that you grew up, or the country where you grew up. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? The next question might be, where are you living right now? Where are you living today? Are you living here in San Francisco? Are you living here in Vancouver? Where is your home? Another question that people often ask when they're meeting someone for the first time is, where would you like to live? If you had a choice and could live anywhere in this world, where would that be? And when you answer that question, it helps that person know a little bit about you. They might ask, are you a city person? Or are you a country person? Are you a city person? Or a country person? And the first time you hear that, you might wonder a little bit about what they mean. What does it mean to be a city person? A country person? Well, what they're simply asking is, do you like living in a city Or do you prefer living out in the countryside? What do you like best? There's a famous children's book, City Mouse and Country Mouse. City Mouse, Country Mouse. What about you? Do you prefer living in the city? Do you prefer living in the city? Or do you prefer living in the countryside? Do you prefer living in the countryside? Let me know in the comments below. Are you a city mouse or are you a country mouse? If someone asks me that question, I would have to say I am a country mouse. I don't like living in the city. There have been many times in my life where I've had to live in a large city, and I just really don't like it. It's too crowded. It's too noisy for me. I feel claustrophobic. I want the wide open spaces of the countryside. And for 4 years I lived in Ho Chi Minh City, over 10 million people. And it was a nice experience to live in Ho Chi Minh City. I'm glad I did. But I always felt a little bit uncomfortable there because I am a country mouse. And so when we moved back to Canada, we moved actually close to another city, one of the biggest cities in Canada, Toronto. Toronto. But instead of moving into the city of Toronto, we moved way out into what's called the suburbs. The suburbs. Those are the residential areas around a big city where there's no tall buildings and it's not as crowded and there's places to grow gardens. You just feel like you're more out in the countryside. You have more space to breathe instead of living in the city where it's all mostly just concrete. Some people will call a city a concrete jungle. A concrete jungle. And that's because there's just concrete everywhere. There's tall buildings all made of concrete and glass. And the pavement and all the sidewalks are concrete. There's hardly any green spaces at all. Hardly any trees. It's all concrete. Some people like it, whereas other people, like myself, prefer to live out in the suburbs because I like to grow a garden. I really like to have a garden where I can grow my own organic vegetables. Organic vegetables. And I love flowers and trees. So, the question, if you had the chance to live anywhere in the world, where would that be? Let me know. Tell me in the comments section below this video where you would go, where you would like to live if you had the chance. Where would you like to live? If you asked me that question, I would probably say that I would like to move to somewhere where there's lots of mountains. I love looking out my window and seeing a beautiful landscape with wonderful, lovely mountains as I look out the window. Or I might say, I think I would like to live somewhere where it's close to the ocean. Maybe right on the ocean, on a cliff where every morning I can walk out onto my balcony and look out over the beautiful ocean and hear the ocean waves as they roll in. I find that very peaceful. It restores my heart and soul to listen to the wonderful sounds of the ocean waves coming in. So mountains and ocean, either one. Or what would be even better is if I could find a place where I have an ocean view out my front yard. As I look out my front window, I can see the beautiful oceanscape. And out my back door, out my backyard, out my back balcony are mountains. So that I could have the best of both worlds. The best of both worlds. Mountains and the sea. Mountains and the ocean. That would be ideal. Maybe what I'm going to have to do is move to an island community in the Pacific somewhere, maybe the Philippines, where I can look out over the ocean, but then turn around and look at the mountains. Maybe I would be happy to retire in one of those places. I have visited many beautiful places in the Philippines and in some of these small islands in the Pacific. The only thing that people might be concerned about in moving to one of those places is tsunamis coming in and washing away your house, or volcanoes, right, coming from the mountains behind you. So maybe that's not the best place to retire if you're afraid of tsunamis. In the Philippines, it seems like they're getting a lot of cyclones these days, more than they used to in times past. I guess with climate change, they're getting a lot more cyclones. And so if I built a house in the Philippines, I would want to make sure that it was very solid and wouldn't blow away with the cyclones. Tell me in the comments below what you like as you look out your front window or your back window. What would you like to see in your landscape? Would it be a beautiful jungle? A forest? A nice pine forest? Speaking of pine forests, I want to tell you about a place that I would like to live, and that's in Vietnam, a place up in the mountains called Dalat. Have you ever visited the city of Dalat? Dalat is a beautiful small city, but there's lots of areas around the small city where you can rent a place or buy a house and live. And the reason why I like Dalat is because, well, first of all, it has the mountain views. Lots of beautiful mountains. It's got beautiful lakes and wonderful waterfalls to visit. Lots of places to hike. Has very cool temperatures all year round. When I lived in Ho Chi Minh City, it was very hot almost all the time. And I prefer it to be nice and cool. I like to tell people that Dalat is one of those magical places on earth where you have the right combination of longitude and altitude so that you can have pine trees growing together with bamboo. And that's kind of a rare sight to see bamboo growing right next to pine trees. Pine trees are kind of a rare sight in Vietnam, actually, because pine trees usually grow in countries that are further north than Vietnam. But Dalat just has that right combination of longitude and altitude so that the two can grow together. Bamboo, or palm trees even, and pine trees growing together. And so it makes it a beautiful place. There are a lot of parks with beautiful flowers, beautiful vegetation. And the people there, because of the temperatures, grow vegetables and fruit. Dalat is a big agricultural center. Some of the valleys and hills near Dalat are just covered with greenhouses. And inside the greenhouse, it extends their growing season so that they can grow flowers, fruits, and vegetables all year long in Dalat. And so the people in Dalat are very friendly. They're very hardworking, wonderful people. When I visit Dalat, I always enjoy going to the night market in the city. They have a wonderful place there that people sell their fruits and vegetables right through the evening, and people come to eat. There's little tables there that you can enjoy your food. And I always like to go and buy strawberries. Strawberries, they're fresh year-round. And so because it's such a wonderful place, I think I might like to spend a couple of years of my retirement there in Dalat, in the mountains of Vietnam. Another place that I think that I would like to spend a couple of years is the country of Thailand. Thailand is another one of those places where you could have a house where you have beaches in the front and mountains in the back. Beautiful limestone cliffs that rise up behind you. And one of the reasons why I like Thailand, in addition to the beautiful beaches and the snorkeling and the lovely mountains, is the food. Do you like Thai food? Tell me in the comments below if you like Thai food. It's a little bit spicy, but very delicious, very yummy to eat the Thai food. And so that might be another place that I might like to spend some time when I retire. I would also like to spend some time in Korea. I just love the Korean people. They're so friendly. They have a wonderful culture with high morals and ethics and standards. And the food, the Korean food, is so delicious. And so I think it might be nice to spend a couple of years living in Korea. But I think after living for a couple of years in Vietnam and a couple of years in Thailand and a couple of years in Korea, that I might want to come back home to Canada and find a place in the very western province of Canada called British Columbia. Have you heard of British Columbia? Many Asians have migrated to the lower mainland of British Columbia, the Vancouver area, because it's very moderate temperatures there. You hardly get any snow during the winter. And you can grow fruit trees and lovely gardens. And it has the ocean there and the mountains behind you. And so for me, it meets a lot of requirements that I have for a place that I would like to live. Beautiful mountain scenery, beautiful oceans, very moderate temperatures where I could grow my garden, have wonderful flowers in my backyard, have even fruit trees, and be able to pick the fruit every year and the organic vegetables, and enjoy a very wonderful retirement. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this lesson on where would you like to live. The next time you're having a conversation with your English-speaking friends, ask them, where would you like to live? If you had a choice to live anywhere in the world, where would you like to live? And I think that will start a nice conversation. And you can tell them where you would like to live. And by doing that, you will get to know each other better. You might find out if your friend is a city mouse or a country mouse. Do they like mountains? Do they like lakes? Do they like waterfalls? Do they like gardens, flowers, fruit trees? What are some of the things that they would like in their backyard, in that place in their mind where they would like to live if they could? And it helps you get to know your friend, your new friend. If you have found this lesson helpful, go ahead and give it a like. That always helps our channel grow. We want to see many new students join our family here at Study English with Frank. And if you prefer not to have the disturbing YouTube advertising that disrupts your lesson, check out our website. My wife and I have joined together and created a website where you can study ad-free. We don't have to worry about being interrupted with YouTube advertising. For a small fee, there you can study without the ads. And that's at studyenglishwithus.ca. So long for today. We'll see you next time here at Study English with Frank. So long for now.